we needed to create the space in a way wherever she is in the house, there is always that connectivity and there's no area that's cut off. So that she knows, because she's alone and it is quite a big house, that there is no area that is in the dark. Like, you know, you can have an eye of every space, which was our probably major concept for the entire space.
Hi, this is Niharika, co-founder of Nav Studio, and
I'm Varsha Reddy. I'm the other half of Nav Studio, and we are a young studio based out of Hyderabad. So when we originally came to this space, it was just a ground and +1. So they needed definitely to have 4 to 5 bedrooms to host everybody in the family, which instantly meant that we will have to build over the house. We were in two minds about whether we should demolish the entire space and build it from scratch, or we should renovate it from what we have. So after doing like some amount of research with our structural engineer and deciding whether it's going to work out or not, we thought like probably doing an adaptive reuse is the best way to go for this space. This site is located in Hyderabad. It is a very old area called Jubilee Hills, where everything around it was pretty much built. Our main road basically follows on this side of the plot, which later continues into the park in the front. And our entrance through the house had to be in the northeast, keeping Vastu in mind. The servant or the storeroom area, which we had to tuck into this corner, again, lot of Vastu constraints. So this floor entirely is dedicated to a foyer space, which continues into a living area where for a short period of time somebody can come over and have a small chat and leave the house without having any trouble on what is happening upstairs, and creating that privacy for the entire space. The major element or the major decision that we had to take in this ground floor is where the cutout is going to be placed. So the house had to become G+3. To create the connectivity from floor ground to ground 2, we had to make the choice of doing these double height spaces that open up at different locations on each of the floor to create that whole visual continuity from ground to above, and not give you the essence of having like an apartment kind of a setup, but have a more homely and independent residence sort of a feel to it. And you can look at the floor below. So from here till G1 and 2, you can see what is happening exactly from one single point. So once you take your set of stairs and come onto the floor above, here is where the actual house for the client begins at, which caters for a living room, which is tucked out into this corner so that it overlooks the space underneath. So just in case you are here and watching TV, they still know who's going to come at the entrance below, and that connectivity continues. Right in front, as you walk out, is going to be where the large dining with the big chandelier is going to be, which is basically something that you need to walk up, and the emphasis was that you see the expanse of the space and have that whole double height feel that happens again in the dining. We've catered for the kitchen and the dining, and a wet kitchen and a dry kitchen over here. The puja room had to be a large space because the family really believes in having a lot of gatherings for puja, and they wanted like a space that can open out into a space where everybody can sit, gather, which is why we've catered an entire area for this, which shuts down and becomes a puja room. But when it opens out, you can have like a larger space there. And again, because the park view and in the east of the house, which is the cooler area, as well as has the best view, is where we decided to add our balcony area.
So when you come into the second floor, as you can see, there is a big living room. When you come out and you can see this big double height space. When you come here, you can actually look into this space of which is ground floor and more connectivity, and also on the right above this, there is one more cutout. So we continued the same connectivity towards this space as well.
This is the space, as we've already mentioned, connects all the way from the top to below. If you're standing even on the ground floor, you can look up and see the chandelier and see the ceiling. So we definitely wanted something really out of the box. So you get birch ply in 8 feet by 4 feet. So they add up as 8 feet by 4 feet panels, which are separately put into the entire ceiling. So this is why we've actually made sure that this has color. It has the element of expanse of the chandelier with a little bit of the depth also. So all of these 3 elements tie up the entire roof, which continues all the way to your outside to give you that entire length of that floor that is there.
So we divided this big rectangle, what you can see right now, into 3 parts. One we did as a bedroom, which is the first space, and the second where the bathroom and the walk-in wardrobe will come into the place, and third is for the lady of the house, where she wanted this beautiful walk-in wardrobe happening, which is facing the park view. So this floor is actually the private zone of this particular house. This floor is more into the sun taste, where it was very funky, and when you enter into this space, it will look in, this is a different feel, and this is completely different from the other floors. So it's more about entertainment zone at this particular floor. So we planned it in such a way that there are 2 bedrooms here, bedroom 1 and the bedroom 2. As soon as you enter to the 3rd floor, you can see this beautiful area where you can see how we utilized the space into more socializing it. You can see a snooker table over here and the freestanding bar unit. So firstly, we have done the same marble cladding marble flooring which was happening on the floor. We continued into the wall and made it as a backdrop to this whole beautiful freestanding unit, and this was also customized in our customized on site. When you come, you can see this big opening where you can see a peak of the big balcony here, and even this balcony, when you enter, it will show it is when you stand here, you can look into the other balcony which is in the 2nd floor. So here we connected the double height plan in outside.
It is a rectangular plan. And what we do know, because it's a narrower facade on the front and it is G+3, we did not want to just create a very long elevation that just looks plain and does not have any character. So how we did that is we removed some volumes in certain areas, we added volumes in certain areas, and the second thing that we also emphasized on doing is create a texture that bifurcates one floor from another floor, creating a whole essence of the space not just being flat.
Verve means it's a place where the creativity starts and where everything gets encouraged by looking at some inspiration. So he always feels that the house is an inspiration for anyone, and that's the reason why we chose Verve.